Question 3 is on the volume and surface area of some prisms. So let's start with the first one, and let's start with volume. So remember that volume is the area of the front face multiplied by the length it goes back. So for this one, we want this area of the front, the area of the face, which is 2 times 7. It's just a rectangle, base times height. It's 14 centimeters squared. So the volume is 14 times 8, which is 112 centimeters cubed. If we look at part B and do the volume for that while we're doing volume, so the volume will be the area of this front face multiplied by how far it goes back, the length of the shape, which is the 10. So the area of that cross section, so the area of the face or the cross section is, it's a triangle this time, so it's going to be base times height divided by 2. So 1.5 times 2 is 3, and then divide that by 2, it's 1.5 centimeters squared. So the volume of this shape is the area of that front face, which is 1.5, multiplied by the length, which is 10. So the volume of that shape is 15 meters cubed. Okay, that's the first part of both of them, to find the volume. The next part is to find the surface area. So the surface area is just the area of each of the faces around the shape all added together. So for this first one, change my colour, to get the surface area, all I'm going to do is I'm going to work out the area of each of the faces and add them all together. So this front face here, I've cut it in, that one will be the same as this one at the back. And both of those are rectangles, and they're simply 2 times 7. So 2 times 7 for the front, plus 2 times 7 for the back, the front and back. And then if I do the same, if I do the top, so this top one will be exactly the same as the one on the bottom. So I'll have 2 of those, the top and the bottom. And this is a rectangle again, that length is 7, that length is 8. So that's 7 times 8 plus 7 times 8, if you like. And then the 2 sides, this side and the one on the opposite side, the sides, the height's 2 by 8. So then I'm doing plus 2 by 8 plus 2 by 8. If you'd rather do it with numbers from the start, that's absolutely fine. We could say that this front bit is 2 times 7, that's 14, plus the one at the back is also 14, plus 7 times 8, so that's this top bit, 7 by 8, and the same on the bottom, 7 eighths are 56, plus 56. And then the 2 sides are 2 times 8 and 2 times 8, so that's plus 16 plus 16. And if we add those all together, we get 110, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 72. 172 centimeters squared for my surface area. Okay, for part B then, so if we want to work out the surface area of this shape, we need to work out the area of each face and add them all together. So this shape will have 5 faces. It's got kind of the triangle at the front, triangle at the back, and then there'll be 3 rectangles going round it. So for this one, if I'm looking at the surface area, I'm going to do the surface area is going to be the area of this front one. I've already done that. That was 1.5. So that's 1.5. Plus, but remember at the back here, if you need to draw it in, you can do. Remember at the back here we'll have another triangle the same as that. That's also 1.5, so that's those 2. Let's look at the base, so kind of the bottom that it's sitting on down here. That'll be a rectangle. and the width is 1.5 and the length is 10. 1.5 times 10 is 15. I'm going to put plus 15, that's the bottom. If I then look at kind of the back, this vertical plane here, that distance is 2, that distance is 10. So that is another rectangle, 2 times 10, which is 20. And then lastly, if I look at this kind of slanted face at the front, the sloped edge, the base is 10, the height is 2.5, 2.5 times 10 is 25. And then to get my surface area, I just double check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things there all added together. I've got 5 faces of my shape. 20 plus 25 is 45, plus 15 is 60, plus 1.5 plus 1.5 is 63 meters squared. So it's an area, so it's squared for the surface area. Okay, part C, so we're still doing the volume and the surface area. So for part C, remember that the volume is the area of the cross section of the front, which is this area, and then I multiply it by this length. So for this one, I want to work out the area of this face. So remember, this is just a lot of little triangles all stuck together in a big circle. So each of these triangles, we imagine, has a base of 7, and this height going directly up is this 4.8. It's the same as this one here. That's 4.8 here. This distance is 7. So the area of that face is going to be, so what's the area of each one of those triangles? So that triangle is base times height. So that's 7 times 4.8. divided by 2. That gives me the area of one of those triangles. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them around my shape. So I then need to multiply that answer by 5 to get the whole shape. So if I do that in 2 bits, if I, on my calculator, do 7 times 4.8, 7 times 4.8, I get 33.6. Divide that by 2, I get 16.8. So that's 16.8 times by 5. If I do 16.8 times by 5, I get 84. And this time it's in millimeters squared because it's an area. If I then want the volume, remember your volume is just that area multiplied by the length of the shape. So the volume of this is going to be 84 multiplied by this 12. So 84 times 12 is 1008 millimeters cubed. Okay, part D is very similar, except they've tipped it up on its side. So the cross-sectional area is still this one, because remember, the area that we're looking for is the one that if I were to slice it through, it would always look the same. So that's my cross-sectional area, and I want to do that multiplied by the height of 15. So looking at this again, look, it's just split up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little triangles. Each of the triangles has this height of 5.2. This length will be the same as that one, and they're all 6. So the area of the face is going to be, so the area of that, one of these little triangles in here is 6 times 5.2 divided by 2. Formula for area of triangle, base times height divided by 2. And then I've got 6 of those little triangles going around my shape. So I'm going to times that answer by 6. So 6 times 5.2 is 31.2. And if I divide that by 2, I get 15.6. And then I'm timesing that by 6 because I've got 6 of these triangles right round my shape. So the area of each face is 93.6 centimetres squared. My volume is simply the area of the face multiplied by the length. So I take that, I times it by 15, and I get 1,404 meters cubed. Sorry, I've made a mistake above. It's not centimeters, it's meters that my units are in this time. Just need to check on your question. It's all in meters. So that's the volume of both of those. So for the surface area then, for the first one, if I want to find the surface area of this shape, I'll rub this out a little bit. All I need to do is work out the area of each of the sides. So looking at my shape, I've got this pentagon at the front. If you imagine it going through to the back, I'm also going to have a pentagon at the back in here. Oh, it's not drawn particularly well, but there will be another pentagon in the back exactly the same as that one. And then all of the edges around, they will all be a rectangle and they'll all be exactly the same because all the sides of the pentagon are the same. So for this one, my surface area is going to be, so the area of that pentagon at the front, this front face in here, I've already worked out. So I already know this area, it's here. So that's 84. And I've got another one of those at the back here, that's plus 84. And then each of these shapes is just a rectangle. That's 7 and that's 12. So each of those has an area of 7 times 12. So 7 times 12 is 84. So each of those is also 84. And I've got how many of them around the shape? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plus 5 more 84s. So my surface area of this shape is simply 84 plus 84 plus 84 plus 84. There's going to be 7 of them all together, isn't there? So if I do that calculation, I get 588. So the surface area of that one, 588 millimeters squared. Similarly, for the second one, I might do this up this side. So to get my surface area, I just want to add up all of the faces. So this top bit, I'm going to have that one and I'm going to have another one the same on the bottom. And I've already worked that out as 93.6. I've got that plus that again, top and bottom. Each of these sides are all the same and they're all rectangles. And this is 6 meters by 15 meters. So 6 times 15 is 90. So each of those is 90, but I've got 6 of them going around the outside of the shape. So it's plus 6 of those 90s, or you could do plus 90, plus 90, plus 90, plus 90. Doesn't really matter. So if I do that, I've got 93.6 plus 93.6 plus 6 90s. And I get that to be 727.2. And that's meters squared.